Oh, there we go. We got us somebody. Hey, how you doing, sir?
Hey, I've got to tell you, I have never seen you before, and I tuned into this tonight, and I found you so fascinating, so
Thank you.
uh, articulate
Thank you.
about. And I've not, I've always respected the police. I'm a 73-year-old man. I never had a ticket in my life, and
Okay.
I was pulled over at Walmart by a Spanish policeman.
Hmm.
And I got out of my truck and he said, "Get back in your truck, get back in your truck." And I'm like I said, I'm an old man. I didn't know that you're not supposed to get out of your truck.
Understood. Right.
So I got in there and I go, "What'd I do?" He goes, your license plates or whatever you call it behind. And I said, "Well, for how long?" He goes, 3 years. I went, "Oh shit." I mean, oh geez. And I said, "Well, how much is this gonna cost me?" And he goes, "Can you read?" I went, "Yeah." And he goes, "Look at the pink part of the ticket." So anyway, it was 125 bucks. Plus I
Yeah.
had to pay for the 3 years I never paid. I,
Golly.
I don't even have Alzheimer's, but I just, I don't know. I didn't pay them.
Right.
Anyway, so I go to the courthouse to pay the fine, and the lady threw it out. She
Mm.
said, I told her how rude the policeman was and that I'd never been stopped in my life, never had a ticket. And so that was my first encounter with a policeman. And so when I see what happens to black people in our community, it upsets me very much.
Hmm.
It's like I know there's this different dichotomy,
Yes.
but it's like another thing. Discrimination is such a horrible thing, or to judge. The hardest thing in my life to do is not to judge.
Yes.
I went to Vietnam to kill Vietnamese,
Mm.
and they live next door to me now.
Whew, that's
Like,
deep.
how cool is that? And
Right.
they're wonderful people. They're
Yep.
absolutely wonderful. So our government, I don't know, it sets us
Hmm.
in this mood, especially if you've ever been in the military, which to me, maybe that's what police work is like. It's kind of militaristic in a sense.
Right.
But I just wanted to come on and say how thankful I am that we have somebody who has a brain and who is telling it like it is.
Absolutely.
Because most of us white people, and I'm generalizing, I know, but most of us have not experienced the life that you have or other people that are more poor. I'm poor right now. I'm
Hmm.
on poverty level. I'm on like 10,000 a year.
Mm.
And so I love it because I get all these benefits that if I was
Yeah.
still working, I wouldn't get. I've got Medicare and Medicaid now.
Right.
And so I don't pay for shit. And I've got a link card. Well, they give me 95 bucks a week. So that's like $25 a week to eat.
Right.
And that's what I live off of. And so when I see, I wish I knew how to get into the community and help. I'm in a very small town in southern Illinois,
Okay.
and there's like it's very segregated. There's the black part of town and the white,
Right.
and I don't know how I can help. I would like to know how I could help.
I would
So,
say something as simple as this right here, having the conversation. I think people downplay the power of communication.
yes,
Being
but
able, hmm
no, I interrupted. I'm sorry.
no, you're fine. I was
Uh,
going to say that we don't talk enough, right? Like you just mentioned, we live in one side, a group lives on the other side. Being
yeah,
able to talk to people in our own community and help dispel a lot of myths, to break a lot of these chains of ignorance that have been plaguing us in this country, right? That's how you help, because you can be in spaces that a lot of us can't go in. You can be places and have conversations and help educate people to think differently, challenge them on things that they might be ignorant on. Challenge them. Sometimes it's, you don't necessarily have to do anything physical. It's about starting a conversation.
No,
this dialogue with us right here. And again, before I even say that, I want to say thank you for your service as well.
no,
The
jeez.
veteran.
Uh,
Yeah.
I went in at 17 in 1965.
It was drafting back then, boy.
Oh, I know. So that's why I went in, because I thought I'm going to get drafted. I might as well go.
Right, right.
So I didn't finish high school. I went
Mm,
in. My parents wouldn't sign for me because they had to sign, but eventually my dad did.
right.
And I never feared for my life. I hate to say I was there. I was on a guided missile destroyer.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had a missile on board. They would have never fired on our ship. And
Right.
it was a destroyer. So we escorted the USS Enterprise. So I
Mm,
didn't go through any kind of hell in Vietnam. In fact, I was a ship mascot because I was the youngest and the smallest. I'm only 5'6".
right, right.
And so I had a good time, and we did all kinds of drugs. I mean, goodness, right on the ship. I mean, everybody did drugs. We did acid, we did coke, you name it.
Nice.
We didn't have
Yeah.
meth then, but damn, we did all kinds of drugs. So when I came back, I was like, when I came back, another thing I
Explicit.
want to mention,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me hear
came
it. Go
back
ahead.
and I'm walking down the streets. I had my navy blues on,
Okay.
and I was discharged in Los Angeles. And I'm walking down the streets. This was the 60s, and a white guy spit on me.
Mm.
And it's like, it like broke my heart, man, because I was naive when I went in. I was stupid to go in 1965, but like you
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
I would have been drafted, so it didn't matter.
Listen, you have something. I love the fact that you're on this channel. I want you to
Ugh,
subscribe. I want you to subscribe. I
I
want you
already
anytime.
did.
Yeah, anytime you see me up, and I want you to send me an email after we get off this talk because I want to talk to you about some things that, and I'm going to explain why your wisdom, your experience is vital for this space because you have something that a lot of us don't have. You've lived in an era that a lot of us only read about, right? I would love to just pick your brain and just understand the dynamics, right? You know,
Well,
there's one thing I would say to you, and I'm going to cycle through because the chat is filling up.
yes, I don't want to take all the time.
No, you're fine. White privilege.
Oh,
White
jeez.
privilege. Does is it real? Does it exist? I want to hear
Yes,
from some.
yes,
It
it
does
does.
exist. Okay.
Of course, I came from a upper middle class family,
Okay.
and now I make 10,000 a year on my Social Security. So
Right.
I went from big bucks to nothing, and I always it's taken me years to understand that and to live at a lower level
Mm.
poverty, to live at a when I say lower level, I mean income, not being able to eat what I want or buy what I want when I used to could buy whatever I wanted. Well, not whatever, but to some extent much more than now.
Right.
So I see that dichotomy, and I see that I had put people down, that I judged people because of their poverty.
Mm.
Now I'm there. And
Mm.
like, how cool is that? It's like, it's, it's supposed to teach me something, I think. It teach me a lesson in this life, and I'm trying to learn it. I'm trying not to judge in any way.
Something
Yeah.
that it's yeah, it's something that we get to learn together, and I think that's the
Oh,
reason why it's important that we talk to people before us, right?
it's
And
so important. It's
it's
so
so
important.
important. And let me ask you this: you say white privilege is real. Let me ask you this though. Why is it that some white people are offended when you say that it's white privilege is a thing? They get offended by it. And a lot of times you hear the response, which I do agree with it though. I agree with the logic that comes what they state is that I came from nothing, right? What do you do? What do you how do you say someone is privileged when they themselves came from nothing? Their parents may have abandoned them or their parents were maybe drug addicts, right? And they had to get their life out of the mud. They had to work hard in their own community, competing against their own people. Is that person privileged in their own right, in their own space? Or is that something that only black people think about, or it's only a reality to people who are not white?
No,
Okay.
no, honestly, I don't think most white people know they're privileged.
Hmm.
I think they just accept it as fact, and that's the way we've been brought up. And so
Okay.
we never dealt with the other side. We never dealt. I grew up in a a gated community. We
Yeah.
never dealt with anybody. And all my friends, if we all had money and we all had new cars and we can all go and do whatever we wanted because our parents did it to us. Our
Mm,
parents gave us that. My parents bought my first apartment for me and paid my
right.
rent and
Right.
bought me a new car every 2 years.
I had to do it
So
all myself. So I wish
when you
we had
when
to.
you when you're raised that way, you don't know any different. You don't think
Mm,
about what other people are going through in this life. But as you mature and you understand the differences, then you do realize that, yeah, shit, you are really privileged. So,
hmm.
and now that I live in low income and have to deal with what other people have dealt with for centuries,
Right.
I'm humbled. I'm humbled by
It's
that.
very humbling. It's very humbling. So
Uh,
what you're saying is you messed your white privilege up. That's what you're telling us.
yeah, yeah.
No, I think, man, I think that's beautiful, and I think it's important that we have these conversations,
I do
and
too because we don't talk.
we don't
Like,
talk. Yeah,
I,
I don't talk. We don't
when
talk.
I see a Spanish person, I always say hola to them. And I read, write, and speak Japanese.
Same here. Oh,
Really?
yeah, yeah. Konbanwa.
Oh, jeez. Uh, and I'll speak to people because I'm in a little tiny southern
Yeah, yeah,
town.
yeah.
I mean, Southern Illinois is like, you might as well be in Alabama or Mississippi. It's all rednecks and just, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just different because I was raised in Chicago. So I have a whole different thoughts about that than the people down here.
Okay.
But
Okay.
uh,
Listen, we got to talk some more. Please email me. Please email me. Check look for my email, email me, and we have to talk some more. I have to get some more.
I've got to let you go. I am so glad to have met you tonight and to find your channel
Yes,
because
sir.
it's awakened me to many thoughts that I hadn't thought about. And another thing before I go,
Hmm.
this whole thing about the what is her name, Potter?
Yes.
I just think she's wrong. I don't care if
Oh, she's wrong. Yeah.
she was a mistake or if she thought it was a mistake, whatever. I don't care. She's guilty. Like, and I'm afraid that nothing's going to happen to her.
Yeah, it looks like a possible hung jury from what I've seen today. It might be a hung, but I mean, she should be guilty. I mean, I know she's guilty. Um,
Everybody
and
knows she's guilty, but
yeah, they're trying to justify it. So we'll see. So stay tuned. We'll stay tuned.
right. And thank you for having me on and bless everybody that's here.
Thank
Like,
you.
you're going to get so many more people on here because I'm going to tell everybody about
Hey,
it.
please do. Please do. And make sure you email me. We'll stay in touch.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right, gentlemen. I see you.